What's up everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Freedom Hacks, and hopefully I'm not going to annoy you looking in two different places, but I'm still trialing out going live to a few different channels at the same time and just seeing, I guess, who's connecting with what, where. And today we're going to talk about getting clear on what to focus on, all right, while I try and focus on two different cameras. If you watched the last Freedom Hack episode, we really dived into starting with the end in mind and really getting clear on the end vision and working your way back from that, being able to have that guiding light and that course correction in terms of always knowing where to go next, or at least be willing to take that next step in order to move forward to that bigger vision, all right? And like a lot of entrepreneurs, we wear a lot of hats all the time, right? 1 minute we're the bookkeeper, next minute we're the salesperson, next minute we're the person looking after the bills and the accounting and the cleaner. Like, we do a lot of different things. And as an entrepreneur and somebody who's trying to really grow their signature program, product, or service, we have to sometimes remove ourselves from the day-to-day do and really get clear on what is our critical 5%. And if you've never read the 80-20 rule or any sort of book like that, I would highly recommend doing that, because it really helps you start to, I guess, analyze what are your top highly productive activities that generate the greatest result for you. Like, where can you put the smallest or the most efficient amount of energy to get the best and biggest outcome, all right? And for me, it's here. It's in creativity, it's in developing my programs, it's in looking at different strategies and systems for my own business growth, marketing, as well as my clients and how they can automate their businesses and their services and get their programs and products in front of more people. Like, that's my critical stuff. And if I'm getting dragged away watching too many courses or replying to too many emails, getting interrupted all the time, or trying to, because I still do a lot for our fitness business stuff, getting distracted too much there sometimes can stop me from being as efficient and as effective as I like to be. So an exercise that I want you guys to do, okay, is start with a piece of paper, all right, about this big. And in the middle, I want you to write down 5%, all right? Just put a little heading in the top of that first circle. That's your 5%. That's the most critical stuff that if you focus on that stuff, it's going to guarantee that you move forward towards that end vision. It's going to give you the outcome that you want, right? For a lot of businesses, that critical 5% as a business owner has to be based around growth to a certain extent, or it has to be based around, if you're the creator versus the operator, doing the creative stuff so that, you know, your business is moving forward, or there's more products in your product line, or there's more programs, there's more content that going out to connect with your ideal customers and audience. And if you're not sure what that critical 5% looks like for you yet, right? Put it in that circle, in that first circle, put it in there, the critical 5%. Then outside of that, I want you to write another circle. All right, and this doesn't have to be pretty. You can get it on a whiteboard, okay? Put 20%, right? So this is, again, it's your critical 20% of things that you know you need to be focused on every single day to move your business forward in some way, to create your product, your program, to get it in front of more people, to learn a marketing strategy, but also implement it, to outsource what you need to allow you to focus on the stuff that is in your critical 5%, right? So in the critical 20%, I can do a little bit of the do stuff that allows me to focus more on the critical 5%. Hopefully you're following me and getting that connection, right? Outside of that, all right, is the 80% of stuff, right? So the 80% of stuff that realistically you don't want to be doing anymore, because it's not a part of that critical 5%. It's also not a part of that initial 20% of things that, you know, if you do those, you're going to continue to move forward, right? That critical 5% is really your zone of genius. That's where your talent lies. That's really what people are paying you for. That's your highest skill set, is within that critical 5%. And the outside 80%, right? That's the accounting, that's the cleaning, that's all of the distractions that are going on for you on a day-to-day basis that are diverting that focus, right? The phone rings, I'm picking it up. There's notifications on Facebook every 5 seconds, and I don't like seeing the little red dot. So I go and answer it, and I look at it, and I reply to every single person rather than just having it closed. Don't even have your browser open while you're working on whatever that 20% and 5% is for you, that's gonna move your business, your product, your program forward in the greatest way possible with the least amount of effective time. Right? Notice how I said that a couple of times, right? The least amount of effective time. That means that when I'm here, I can be very effective in a short amount of time because I have no distractions. I'm focused on what that stuff is, and I'm also very clear on what my outcome is around that. So let's say it's sales calls. I need to talk to X amount of leads, right? I'm gonna create a window. Like I have a window for myself every day for free calls that I do when I connect with entrepreneurs who want to work with me, take up my products or programs, right? Like I literally put that for about a 2 to 4 hour window in the middle of my day. Now, some of you might think that's crazy, but for me, it allows me to get a good chunk of stuff done in the morning. It allows me to do those calls, and it allows me to get another good chunk of time outside those call hours, right? So for me, that works really well, but I had to go through the process enough times to work out that that's where I'm most effective. I'm really effective first thing in the morning, have a great morning routine, and I'm also quite effective in the afternoon if I get another workout in and sort of get my brain flowing again. So have a look at what those things are for you. And the best thing about that 80% list is that's the stuff that you no longer want to be doing. It's the distraction stuff. It's the stuff that, to be honest with you, we should be able to outsource. And in the beginning, you might be, well, I can't afford to outsource that stuff, right? I get it, totally understand. But maybe I can barter with somebody. Maybe I can do a trade of service, right? They do that for me while I do this for them, right? Because whatever it is I'm doing for them should be inside that 20 to 5%. Whereas the 80% that I don't want to do, maybe that's their 20%. So we do a trade of service because it's like for like. They enjoy that stuff, I enjoy that stuff, and it doesn't cost us anything, right? And then we can both be focused on what's most important for us. So have a look at what you're doing, get out a piece of paper, get out a big whiteboard, and start working out what that critical 5% is for you, right? The stuff that's in your zone of genius, in your area of mastery, that's really going to help you either connect with your audience more, grow better programs, develop your service, become a better marketer, become a better salesperson, become a better communicator, whatever that might be for you in your 5%. The 20% is the tasks that lead you to be able to focus on the 5% more, okay? And the outside 20% of stuff is the stuff that we want to get clear on from the beginning. That is, it's a distraction. It's taking us away from what we really should be focusing on. And let's look at ways where we can outsource that, leverage our time, pay somebody else to do it. Like I've had many a conversation with a client where I'm like, how much would you invest to free up all your time? Like what would you pay? Right? Like I would easily pay over $100,000 a year to completely free up my time, right? And regardless of that number for you, for me, that's what my time at a bare minimum is worth, to be able to stay inside my 20 and then my 5%. If I could only be at my 5%, I'd probably pay more than that, right? And that's something that I'm always constantly looking at with every model that I build. With all the models that my clients have, we're always looking at how do we get them to only focus on the stuff that they love doing, that they're passionate about, that they're greatest at, right? That fulfills them at a core level that doesn't dilute their level of energy, their motivation, their enthusiasm for what they're doing, because the 80% is pulling them in all sorts of different directions. So I hope that helped you. And as always, if you think somebody else would benefit from this, hit the like, hit the share button. I would love to hear from you. Comment below in terms of, I guess, what you relate to with this. Do you struggle to focus on the critical things for you? Are you clear on what your 5% is? And if you're not, take on the exercise, apply it to you and your business or whatever it is you're trying to work on and grow. And I hope you get the benefit of it the same way that I have over the last few years. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow.